Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number 13 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my various teams into the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 16,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, first team today comes in from my guy Trent. He's got 800,000 MT. Says he's going to have Hakeem next weekend, hoping to replace AI with a Diamond Halliburton. I would think Halliburton almost certainly has to be in 'Tis the Season present or one of these sets over the next 2 weeks, because like he is playing his butt off and has not gotten a card yet this year, and it's coming. So when that card comes out, I bet you can plug him in for sure. I don't really like AI very much, honestly. If I even had like Diamond D Wade, I'd probably run him over. But if you want to hold off or whatever until Halliburton comes out, that's fine. AI, whatever, I guess he's not the worst. Outside of that, I don't like Wilt or Vanderbilt a ton at backup center. Like those are probably the next weakest spots on your team after AI, I'd say. So those could be upgraded with the amount of MT you have. There's no doubt. I mean, you could buy some guys, but the question is it worth buying those guys? If you're going to have Hakeem next weekend, I don't think I would be buying a guy to replace Wilt simply because Hakeem can fill that spot. But at power forward, I mean, there are some other guys you could potentially target. Unfortunately, it's kind of an expensive position, but I mean, Chet Holmgren, the problem with Chet is that he's a lock-in. Pascal Siakam's an option, but he's also kind of expensive. It's one of those things where it's almost like Vanderbilt might just be worth leaving in at the power forward position for right now, because there's not quite that next mid-tier guy between a Vanderbilt and a Chet, and I don't know if it's worth spending the MT to lock in somebody like Chet at this point. So it might almost be worth, I mean, you could pick up a Siakam, he's probably going to be an upgrade, or you could just leave it with Vanderbilt. Hakeem will be great, though, and I think he definitely takes Wilt's spot when you get that card. But honestly, right now, I'm not seeing any guys that are just immediate cops for me. Hopefully that Halliburton comes soon, and hopefully they can bring us a power forward who can defend a little more, who's a little bit of an upgrade over Vanderbilt, who maybe has anchor or something like that, or clamps. Next team is Jdub. He's got 220,000 in T, so he's won 11 unlimited games in a row. Let's go, W's. Wondering what to do, and he is not moving Jdub. He's goated. Okay, so great squad, obviously. He's got it dang near every single card. It looks like he's got KD, Bron, Giannis all locked in. He's got Penny from this set, so he's got everything. I don't know why Ron Artest isn't in this lineup. This is a team with almost every single card in the game. Why is Ron Artest not your backup shooting guard and Paul George your backup small forward, though? I don't know why Kuzma's in there backup small forward. You don't need his offense that much. Artest is pretty close to the same offensively. They both have great releases, and I don't think either of them are incredible shot creators. So I would go Penny at the 2, Artest at the, or Penny at the 1, Artest at the 2, and Paul George at the 3 off the bench. Outside of that, the rest of your squad is exceptional, and in my opinion, does not need any changes, and you basically have every single squad in the game anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But about outside of obviously the grindable ones, KG and Hakeem, but outside of those two guys, you have basically every card. So definitely plug Ron Artest in there. But outside of that, like, what changes can you even really make at that point besides just grinding out those new reward cards? Next team comes in from 1,003. He's got 208,000 MT. Nobody spent squad. He's going for Hakeem, but he's far away from getting him. Yeah, Hakeem's a big grind, but it depends on the mode and how much time you actually have to play the game. If you have enough time to play the game a good amount this season, I would pick one of Hakeem or KG. And if it's Hakeem, pick one mode, and I would go for it, because like he's a great card, and this is a really solid team already. I wish that Ruby Caruso could play point guard, because he would be the best budget point guard in the game. Like, that card is so good. I just wish he could play point guard. Honestly, when I look at this team, D-Rob is the #1 card that would upgrade your team the most, but I don't know if he's worth his price. Your small forward position is fine. Jeremy Grant and Kawhi doesn't need upgrades. Caruso and Nick Young, I might start Nick Young, and also I might play Gerald Wallace over Caruso, debatably, at least just because Gerald Wallace has better size. That Caruso's pretty darn good, though, but I think I'd probably go Gerald Wallace over Caruso. Derek White is going to be fine for the time being, a backup point guard. Vanderbilt's good. Kuzma's okay, not great, but not bad. Wilt and Portis. I mean, this whole team, like, your biggest upgrade right now that you can make is David Robinson. 100%. In terms of one player you can buy, David Robinson would be the biggest upgrade that you could right now make to this team. And the question is, is it worth spending that MT to you? For me personally, I would just buy D-Rob and start him at center, and I think he'll be the biggest upgrade you could possibly make because I think the rest of your team's okay, and I don't think there's anything right now that you can really do to upgrade cheaply, at least. So this is the point where it's like, basically, do you want to just grind for more MT and wait, or do you want to make a big upgrade? And I think D-Rob is the perfect big upgrade, the best center in the game for a pretty reasonable price point. He's going to be a huge upgrade at a very important position. I think that's something that I would 100% do. MJ has 270,000 MT. Is about to have KG, doesn't know where he fits, and bench needs improvement. All right, KG probably slides in at the 4 if you badge him up. I know his playmaking isn't awesome. You could play him at the 5 as well. It really depends what you think of Kareem versus Siakam. You probably like Kareem more than Siakam. Most people do. So Cade Harden is good, but I don't like the Harden-Nick Young duo off the bench defensively. That's just not a duo that is very exciting to me. I honestly think this type of team, if you're going to run Harden as your backup point guard, which you have him locked in, so I assume you're going to do that. Nick Young doesn't fit as the shooting guard next to him, and I don't think you should be benching Artest, so I almost think selling Nick Young and going towards a guy like Paul George would be worth considering at least. There's even like a budget shooting guard, like a Gerald Wallace, might even be a better option because you're going to have Harden to run your offense through. Could slide Jimmy to the shooting guard position as well as another. That might be the best option, actually. This is what you do. You go Cade, Jimmy, LeBron, KG, D-Rob, and then off the bench you go Harden, Artest, Scotty Barnes, Pascal, and Kareem temporarily when you get KG, and I don't think you have to buy anybody. Nick Young's a great card. Keep him in your last 3 so that you can have him as a shot creator if you need more shot creation in your lineup. But for right now, I don't think, especially next to Harden as your backup point guard, that he fits perfectly. Is quite the right guy. Jay Clarence's no money spent has over 1 million MT. I mean, this is a great no money spent team. He's not planning on locking it for Kobe, and I respect that. He already has D-Rob. I will say Kobe, Jimmy, KG, Hakeem, or Jimmy, KG, and Hakeem all coming home soon. Only level 19 though, so it looks like it might be a minute on that. I would say Ron Artest would be a big upgrade for this team because I don't like that Jaylen Brown card. And you have 1 million MT. He's only 180K. You're still gonna have 900K after buying Ron Artest. The rest of your team is great. Artest is better than Brandon Roy. I mean, SGA Artest and bring B-Roy off the, or bring Artest off the bench. He can be your lock because B-Roy's not as good defensively. Like, I know B-Roy, in my opinion, isn't quite as good as Artest, but I don't have a problem at all with bringing Artest off the bench. I think he's a huge upgrade over JB, and even no money spent, I think an upgrade like that is 100% worth making, especially when it's going to leave you with a gigantic chunk of MT still. So I think you're just fine. I would 100% go get Ron Artest, and I think that's the only addition that you should make right now. This team from Ramon, he has 60K MT, says he's going for KG, and that's a W, but the only thing that I don't understand about this team, it's a great squad, but why is Michael Finley playing the 2? Like, why? That makes no sense. Gerald Wallace, easy upgrade. He's cheap. Just plug him in. You want to go a little more expensive, go with a guy like Nick Young. He's going to give you more offense. Can have Braun as your primary, Cade as your secondary, and Nick Young as your tertiary defensive guys, if you'd like. And if you want to try to save some MT, obviously a guy like Ron Artest, but you'd need a more MT. You only have 60K and you need 180K for that. So I don't think that's going to be worth it. This is a good team with overall really good cards. When you get KG, I think he probably replaces Siakam in your lineup in all likelihood, in my opinion. I do worry about your bench defensively a little bit, like Harden, Cam Reddish, and Michael Beasley. Both Harden and Beasley with very limited defensive badges. I would consider, even for like 4,000 MT, go grab that Sapphire Shane Battier, just throw him at the end of your bench somewhere instead of AD or Portis or something, so that you have another bench defensive wing if you need one. That's something else that I would just shout out real quick to consider. But your biggest thing is just this Michael Finley needs to go. He's just not very good. Last team today comes in from Invincible Splash Daddy, and he's got 140K MT, says he's looking for better budget cards overall. Scott D. Wade and De'Aaron Fox at point guards. I like those cards. I'm assuming De'Aaron Fox was out of your equal chance diamond pack. I'm cool with both of those guys. Your point guards, I think Cade would be an upgrade, but Brandon Roy, while fine, and I understand he's only 10K, Gerald Wallace is 29K and way better. Just sell Brandon Roy and go get Gerald Wallace. That's an easy swap right there. You're going to lose 20K MT, but it's okay. You'll still have 115, 120K. It is what it is. Kuzma and Harrison Barnes, Jaren and Jared Vanderbilt, and then D-Rob, Josh Smith, Bobby Portis. Okay, D-Rob, Jaren, JV, and Portis as your 4s and 5s is pretty good, I'd say. Gerald Wallace replacing Cam Reddish means your twos, or replacing Brandon Roy, I should say, means your twos will be fine. 140 KMT, I think Cade is the biggest upgrade. Pick who you like more between D-Wade and De'Aaron Fox and play them as your backup point guard, and then pick Cade up and start him at point guard. Cade's ability to shot create, shoot, and defend, and slash with his size at 6'7" and for 84 KMT is just an absolute steal. I feel like that's the best upgrade you can make right now. After that, you're still going to have probably, well, if you pick that up and you pick up Gerald Wallace, that's going to cost you 100,000 MT, so you're not going to have as much there, but those two guys would be the two main upgrades right there. Have around 40 KMT left and can work on building that MT stack up a bit again for next weekend's drop. If you can get back up to 180k or so, that would be awesome over the next week, and I'm sure you do have time to do that if you want to. But for me, those are the two upgrades, Cade Cunningham and Gerald Wallace, that I would make to this squad. And as a whole, that is the last team for this video, so that's going to do it. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.